the Lawson family were like, your average American family at the time. It seemed to be, loads of kids, all these kids, husband, wife. I think they had 7 children. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or was it 6? Maybe 6 children. Yeah, all seemed okay. No sign of any problems or anything until this is how these family things always work, isn't it? No sign of any problems until suddenly there are problems, and they just come out of nowhere, don't they? I mean, it's like loads of cases that we've covered. 1 minute everything, they're just a normal family next door, and the next minute, for whatever reason, it all goes pear-shaped. And that's what happened with this family. But it was a long time ago, a long time ago. It was on December the 25th, Christmas Day in 1929. This father, Charlie Lawson, murdered his wife and 6 of their 7 children before killing himself in Stokes County. And even to this day, the motive remains a mystery. Where nobody knows why he did it. I don't know how closely it was investigated then. Did he have money problems? Was it mental health issues? I mean, what was it? Why did he do that? And why did he spare his oldest child? That's interesting as well to me. Why did he kill all the others and himself, but his oldest child, who also came to a sticky end, let me tell you. So this family, you can say that this is an unlucky family. So on December, let me put the article up that I'm reading from. Yeah, 6 children, no tellies in those days, David. So, yeah. Let's put the article up. Oh, do you know, that fire looks so nice behind me. I think that's what's making me feel, I feel quite warm, actually. And it's 13, mind you, it's 13 degrees. It's a bit warmer than it has been. Well, let's have a look at this article. We'll look at this. This is a very short one first. The story, it's really basically more or less what I just read out. So, on December the 25th, 1929, Charlie Lawson murdered his wife and 6 of their 7 children before killing himself in Stokes County in the USA. The tragedy occurred on their farm. And you know what's even more freaky is this portrait, this photograph. Yeah, this photograph that's up in the corner and here, that was taken on that same day. Oh, sorry, just days after Charlie, it wouldn't be Christmas Day. So just before Christmas, he took his whole family into town, bought them new clothes, and had them sit for this portrait. Why? The eerie photograph, an unusual expense for a poor family of that era, indicates that Charlie likely considered the crime for some time before carrying it out. So did he do that on purpose so there would be this lasting memorial to his family? So they weren't a rich family. So what they're saying is that was quite an expensive thing for a poor family to do, buy all his children and his family new clothes, take them, get the photograph done. They don't look very happy, do they? I mean, they're not exactly smiling on that photo, are they? You don't feel like, you wouldn't call that a happy family photo, would you? You just wouldn't. Gosh, they're very strange. his motive remains a mystery. So he sent his 16-year-old son off on an errand before going to the tobacco barn, where he shot and bludgeoned his two middle daughters, Carrie and Mabel. He then went into the house and killed the remaining members of his family, including 4-month-old Mary Lou. What a twat. I should have put him in the hellhole, shouldn't I? I haven't put him in the hellhole. Maybe I will. He positioned the bodies by putting rocks under their heads and crossing their arms. So he posed them as well. That's, again, it's like, no, did he just crack? You know, how old was he? Doesn't say how old he is, does it? It doesn't say how old. Maybe he's going through a midlife crisis. I don't know. Anyway, he positioned the bodies by putting rocks under their heads and crossing their arms. Afterwards, he hid out in the woods, apparently pacing around a tree, while neighbours and police gathered at the house, and all that were there heard the gunshot when Charlie took his own life. And the sole survivor of the tragedy, James Arthur Lawson, later married and had 2 children before dying in a car accident in 1945. Oh my God. So, you know, talk about an unlucky family. So anyway, that's just a short article. We're going to look at a longer article now, which tells the story better. So while families gathered around, sharing the joy of Christmas Day, I should have some Christmas music on in the background, something sinister was brewing in Madison, North Carolina. Charlie Lawson, an otherwise well-mannered tobacco farmer, had a shotgun in hand and a malicious urge. Still doesn't say how old he was. In the silence of that peaceful holiday, as presents were being wrapped elsewhere, Lawson unravelled his life. The mass murder became a North Carolina legend. Its roots snaked not just through the Lawson farm, but also Madison Dry Goods and Country Store and the Browder Cemetery. By nightfall on December the 25th, 1929, all but one of the close-knit Lawson family was dead. You know, it just makes you wonder, why did he spare his son? I wonder. You know, why did he spare one of them? Do you remember this? I've never heard this story before. Anyway, the lore of the Lawson family murders circulates within Madison Dry Goods and Country Store. It's not just the related artifacts that relay details about the ill-fated day. The spirits of the restless dead have returned, bound to the country store. Oh, I missed this bit, sorry. Within 2 days, they were buried in a mass grave at the private Browder Cemetery, where one plot was donated. In between their deaths and burial, the Lawsons were tended to where the story of Charles's moment of insanity is told day after day. So this apparently, although Asheville sits over 150 miles from the site of the grisly murders, the shock of that Christmas day became widespread. It's a piece of North Carolina history and likely a story you'll hear after booking an Asheville ghost tour. I'm dying to go on a ghost tour. I've got to go on some sort of ghost tour. So apparently this place, Madison Dry Goods and Country Store, is a unique haunted location. It's not where the Lawson murders took place, but it remains one of the most iconic haunted places in North Carolina. The bodies of Charlie, his children and his wife were embalmed. What is that dog making all that? What's the matter? What's the matter? She's making a real... Aren't you being really dramatic? What's the matter, baby? The bodies of Charlie's children and his wife were embalmed in the funeral home that once took up the second floor. So it's also where visitors to Madison will find the Lawson family murder museum. Perchance, while exploring the history of that deadly day, guests may also have a run-in with one of the family's forlorn spirits. Charles Davis, Charlie Lawson, was not the type anyone expected to commit such a heinous act. A modest sharecropper, Lawson brought his family to Germantown in 1918 following his younger brothers. At the time, Charlie and his wife Fanny, how often does that name come up, had 4 children. Oh, she's going upstairs, so my other dogs are getting. Oh, God. Get a dog, they said. It will be fun, they said. It's not fun sometimes. Anyway, had 4 children, Arthur, Marie, William and Carrie. For 2 years, they lived without known incident. Then, on November the 14th, 1920, William passed away from pneumonia, so they lost one of their children. Then, within 2 years of William's death, the Lawson family expanded. In 1922, they welcomed Mabel, followed 3 years later by James. By 1927, around the same time, Charlie purchased his own tobacco farm. On Brook Cove Road in Madison, Raymond was born, and the last member of the family, baby Mary Lou, was welcomed into the world in August 1929. I suppose she was only 4 months old, bless. So, come December the 26th, 1929, all but one of this family of 9 were dead. So, for over 90 years, curious minds have tried to decipher what happened to Charlie Lawson on the morning of Christmas 1929. Just days before, he had brought his family into Winston-Salem and treated them to new clothing. They all gathered for a photo to commemorate the occasion. However, some believe it was a way to preserve the memory of a family he knew would be dead by the year's end. After all, despite purchasing his own farm, Charlie was not known for his wealth or being a spendthrift. It's really quite, it's really quite weird, isn't it? Isn't it? I don't know. All right, Julie, Julie's saying a group of paranormal investigators went to the property and got some interesting results. No, they weren't all female, David. No. I wonder if he let the older boy didn't kill him. Maybe he was worried that he might overpower him or whatever. He killed the more vulnerable ones. I don't know. Julie, I know what you're saying. I could send my Amazon parcels to an Amazon locker, but I'd have to leave the house then, Julie. I don't like leaving the house. Oh, I couldn't be going in there regularly and picking them up. Not the amount of, I do order quite a lot on Amazon, so no. I'm going to put a sign on the doorbell. Do not ring the doorbell. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to try that. But it's a good idea what you're saying. But yeah, you know that I'll do anything to not leave the house most of the time. So while the rest of the family enjoyed their Christmas morning, Charlie grabbed his shotgun and waited for the opportune moment. And as the afternoon rolled around, Carrie and Mabel set off to visit their aunt and uncle. Instead, they found their father waiting by the barn, shotgun aimed directly at them. The first shots of that bloody day rang out across the farm, and to ensure his daughters were dead, he turned the shotgun in his hands and brought the butt down on him. I mean, that's just, it's bad enough shooting them, but then, doing that as well. So before moving to the house, he placed Carrie and Mabel in the barn. He placed rocks under their head. in what appeared to be an act of compassion or ritual. Then he set out for the rest of the Lawson brood. He found Fanny on the porch and fired. Inside, Marie heard the shotgun but didn't run to hide like her brothers, James and Raymond. Charlie next killed Marie. Then 2 more gunshots filled the air as the 2 young boys succumbed to their father's madness. Even little Mary Lou could not escape Charlie's wrath. That's the 4-month-old. What a twat. And was tragically bludgeoned to death. As the blood of his wife and children seeped into the farm's grounds and the grains of the home's wood floors, Charlie ran from his home. A crowd started to form on the Lawson property, possibly drawn by the gunshots, well, obviously, while onlookers, including Charlie's brother, surveyed the horrors before them. And while that happened, one last gunshot filled the air. Turning the gun on himself, Charlie pulled the trigger and the bullet pierced his heart, marking the last victim of this inexplicable killer spree. Why he ever turned on his family is a matter of debate. Some say madness, others suggest he suffered a head injury. And the most nefarious claim, though, suggests he had an incestuous relationship with Marie, with his daughter, pregnant with his baby. Charlie sought to prevent his dark secret from becoming public. That's a possibility, isn't it? Unfortunately for Charlie and the Lawson legacy, family members like his niece Stella Lawson were told the truth by either Fanny or Marie. Oh, it was supposed to be true. It is true, apparently. Apparently, Stella kept the secret for decades, but she eventually spoke about it to Trudy J. Smith, who authored 2 books about the murders. Though much of the Lawson family was home that Christmas afternoon, one was absent. Why Arthur was out changes from story to story, but it spared him his siblings' fate. Do you think it's a little bit of speculation here, complete? Do you think it's possible that he did it and the father was protecting him? Anyway, having gone hunting that morning, it's said that Arthur's gun ran dry and he decided to go to town for ammunition. He's not going to go on Christmas Day, surely. Surely he's not going to go on Christmas Day for ammunition, is he? Oh, I'm very suspicious of this son. Anyway, other versions claim that Charlie sent him off, although there seems to be no known reason why he'd want his middle son to survive. And after the murders, Arthur was on his own. His uncle, Marion, feared that the team would not survive without his father's income, so he got creative. Shortly after the murder became public, the Lawson property attracted vultures who mined relics and artifacts from the home. People were desperate for a piece of Lawson's history. Some even picked away at the Christmas cake that Fanny made, taking raisins as souvenirs, for fuck's sake. So this is what I mean. You think it's a crazy world now. It was a crazy world then. People have always been pretty crazy, haven't they? Seeing an opportunity for a moneymaker, Marion helped support young Arthur with tours for $25. Guests could visit the property and see where the Lawsons were gunned down. It may have been a morbid venture, but even Arthur joined the sensationalism. I'm suspicious of Arthur. Taking pieces of furniture from the home like Mary Lou's crib. Arthur and Marion put the family's life on display at local fairs. And then in 1945, Arthur died in a car wreck. But the Lawson family murders remained a well-known piece of North Carolina history, and even after Arthur's passing, Lawson's story continued to be told. I can't believe this is the first time I've ever heard of this story. This time, though, it was the dead that did the talking. So this is the haunting that apparently happened. So the three stories, so this is this place, the haunts of Madison Dry Goods and Country Store. The 3-story building on the corner of North Market and West Murphy houses a country store on its first floor. Up one flight of stairs, though, visitors are transported back to 1929, to the day of the Lawson murders. On the site of the funeral home that embalmed the entire family, the second story now houses a free museum dedicated to that Christmas day. It's a small collection of artifacts and photos, including an image of Charlie laid to rest in his casket. The museum is more than just a collection of physical items. Through the years, visitors have claimed to catch glimpses of the deceased family. A common sighting is a young girl in white, known to present herself to other children specifically, and objects have been spotted moving around on their own. Oh, the ghosts at Madison Dry Goods even attracted Netflix's attention. In an episode of the network's 28 Days Haunted, I don't think I've seen that, psychic Brandy Marie Miller and demonologist Jerome Leonard spent 28 days in the museum. And when they emerged, they did so with experiences of disembodied voices and another staple of active spirits, unstable electricity. Oh, I'm getting a bit creeped out now. So there you go. There are other legends, but that is the legend, it's not a legend, is it? It's a true story of the Lawson family. And what happened all those years ago on Christmas Day. I think a lot of things happen on Christmas. Things come to a head at Christmas, aren't they? These, as I've said, these important dates, Christmas, New Year, birthdays, Valentine's Day, all these important dates. They bring, I think, people sort of who are just like maybe managing day by day and just getting on with it. And it comes to a significant date. They just think, I can't do this anymore, don't they? And they always have, it's an interesting thing. It's not a new thing. It's like something that's happened for decades, probably centuries. There's probably been loads of families that have been annihilated over the years, and it's still happening. Very odd, isn't it? But what makes somebody, he seemed to plan it, to take his family out, buy them all new clothes and everything, and pay for this photo. But look how miserable they all look anyway. Don't look. I presume this is the guy, Charlie. This will be his oldest son, is it? Is that his wife and the baby? They all look like it. That photo really totally gives me the creeps. Oh my God! Then those poor kids. But they all look pretty creepy. They certainly don't look very happy, do they? You wouldn't look at that and think it was a happy family. Not one of them is smiling, are they? She's smiling a little bit, this girl. But look at him. He looks like a total psycho. Is that the oldest son? He's got those bloody mental eyes. I'm quite suspicious of him. I won't be surprised if he had something to do with it. Maybe the dad was trying to cover up for him. So that happens sometimes, doesn't it? Anyway, there you go. Real Christmas mystery. So as we come up to Christmas, I will be doing some, stories like that. I think I'm glad I found that story because it's an interesting story. And I think it tells us that these like crazy things that happen, they're not new things, are they? So he didn't do it because he had another woman, because he killed himself as well. So it wasn't like a lot of family annihilations are, because they want to be with somebody else and they try and make out like Chris Watts that somebody else did it. But this isn't the case here because he took his own life as well. So maybe he just had enough. Maybe he was going through a midlife crisis. I mean, who knows? I have absolutely no idea why he would have done this.